Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you guys for turning in. We have another great episode for you guys. This is Fighting for Freedom. My name is Davida. I am the co host alongside my husband. His name is Rodney Pitts. He is also the co host, and we together, we're Fighting for Freedom. Fighting for Freedom is a platform designed to give incarcerated individuals a safe space, a space to, talk about their journey, where they are, why they're there, what they've done since they've been there, their accomplishments. My husband, he is incarcerated. He is at Western Correctional Institution, and this is his baby. This is his brainchild. He put all of this together, and I'm bringing it to the forefront for you guys. So again, like I said, we're fighting for freedom. We are on every third Sunday at 7 p.m. So if you guys know anyone, if you want to come on, you don't have to be someone that's incarcerated. You can have an incarcerated loved one. Send us a request on our email. It is fighting for freedom at myyahoo. That's important, myyahoo.com. And it's up on the screen for you guys. So send us a shout out. Let us know you want to come on and we can make it happen. So we have a very special guest for you guys today. I'm really excited to talk to this young man. His name is Benjamin Boisseau. I hope I said that right. They call him Musa. He is incarcerated at Western Correctional Institution. Mr. Musa, we welcome you on our show. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up. Let's introduce yourself to the people. Welcome, Mr. Musa.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. It's my pleasure to be here. I've been looking forward to this as well. Um, as she said, my name is Benjamin Boisseau, but when you try to say it in the French, most people mess it up. So that's why I just say Boisseau, the English version of it, right? So, but I haven't been that guy for a long time. I've been Musa. I transitioned from Benjamin to Big Musa, from Big Musa to Musa in my maturation process. Uh, I've been incarcerated for 32 years. October will be 32 years. Um, I spent 24 years at JCI, and I've been here for about 8 years at WCI. During my incarceration, it's been a interesting transformation to the person I am today. Uh, I was incarcerated for bank robbery, murder. The irony in that is that I wasn't even armed, so how could I be guilty of first-degree premeditated murder? But we're not going to get into all that because it's irrelevant. I've spent 33 years in prison, so talking about the logistics of my case is irrelevant now. It's about the opportunity for a second chance. And so um, I've found out early that I was a teacher and I did not know it. I became a tutor at JCI when it was an annex and realized that I had an ability to help people, to teach people, and I was good at it. I went to the furniture manufacturing shop and instantly became a lead man and was doing the same thing there, training people and teaching people. But all that took place because before I had to do all that, I had to be a student. I had to be a student first. And my the thing that I was a student in was the religion of Islam, learning what that was. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Me becoming Muslim, and it changed my life. Outside of the fact that, and I'm gonna refer to this young lady, my best friend, as Mama Bear, just to keep her as anonymous as possible. Those people who know me know who Mama Bear is, and she knows who she is. But the forgiveness that she showed me way back in '94 helped me become the man I am today.
All right. That's a lot. So you've been in prison to be, as you said, it'd be 33 years this October. And but what if you don't mind me asking, you said it was bank robbery, but who was Mr. Musa before that? Who were you before the bank robbery? Like where did you grow up? Who did you have a
Well,
single household?
yeah, yeah, I'm Baltimore bred. I was a single mother. She had 5 children. I'm the next to the youngest, and it was a rough childhood growing up with siblings and a single mother, and we with 3 different fathers. It was difficult. My father wasn't a part of my life, and actually, I grew up hating my father. I really did. I
Mm,
hated him for not being there, and uh, it's kind of like one of the reasons why the decision for me to go in that bank, which I've never done before. I wasn't a criminal. I mean, 23 years before the crime, nothing, and 33 years after the crime, nothing. And for 2 minutes of my life for some actions that wasn't mine, I've been condemned to die in prison. But and I don't have a problem being responsible for my actions because I committed a crime. But I'm not being held responsible for my crime. I'm being held responsible for someone else's. So, but that desire not to be that type of father kind of made me made that decision. It was 4 days before my son's fourth birthday, and
mm,
I was like 6 months behind on my rent. And so my rap buddy he kept asking me to do this, and I was like, nah. And so the last time I saw my son was the Saturday before we committed the crime, which was on Monday, and we was in going down Liberty Road, and he was in the back seat of his mother car, and I could see him. I don't know how he seen me through all this traffic, but he seen me. And he was waving. I could see him smiling. Man, there go Daddy Ben. That was his nickname for me, Daddy Ben. And there go Daddy Ben. And I felt so bad because I couldn't even buy this little guy a cupcake, and his birthday was coming up, and I didn't want to be to him what my father was to me. And that's why I decided to go in that bank. I was going to go in there and get that money and pay my rent and give him a little birthday party. That was my intent. That was my intent. And that's all it was. My intent never changed. It was purely larcenous, but somehow it became murderous because of someone else's actions. And so here we are today because of
mm.
that bad decision.
And this
Really
crime. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I say I can't really blame anybody, and I don't blame anybody. I take full responsibility. As Mama Bear always tell me, if you wasn't there, then they couldn't have did it to you. So, right.
Mm. So you committed the crime. They convicted you and sentenced you to what?
Well, I had 4 life sentences, 2 without parole, plus 20 years.
My Lord. You when you think about those type of sentences, like one life sentence without parole, like just that just wasn't enough. Like we possibly cannot live multiple lives to even fulfill the obligation. So it's almost like just a smack in the face, as if, and then throw on 20 years as if the 2 life sentences wouldn't have been enough. Um, so since your incarceration, you said you come a long way outside of confessing Shahada and becoming Muslim. What have you been busy with?
Uh, well, I just teach. Really, I mean, I teach. I've I've tried a couple of the little self help programs, but it's not really necessary. Like I did the alternative to violence, but the stuff that they were doing, I would. It's already had been a part of my life because I'm not a violent person. So I found myself, before I even finished that, they made me a facilitator and helping with the program. So I don't drink, I don't get high. So, and I promised myself when Mama Bear first bought my daughter, who it was the first time I saw her, uh, uh, when I was down JCI, she was 6 years old, and she brought her to see me. And I promised myself that I wasn't do anything irresponsible again, because I didn't want to lose the opportunity to know this young lady that, well, the young lady she is now, that I didn't know, that belonged to me, that was mine, and I was neglecting. So that moment of forgiveness really changed me because I had bad intent. I really did. I had bad intent. And Mama Bear don't like me to talk about it, but that's the reality. I had bad intent. I was going to be the monster that they said I was. But you can't be who you're not.
Right.
You can't be who you're not. So, and these years are just growing and realizing that you either going to be part of the problem or part of the solution. And for all intents and purposes, I had to make this my life because it was my life. So, I had to be in this community that we're in and be a productive part of it or succumb to it. And I wasn't about to succumb to it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't about to let this dictate who I am and the type of person I've become. It was a rough battle, you know what I mean? Because even when I professed her, I didn't know enough about it to really be sincere to it. But I tell you, over the past 5 years, I'm gonna say it's been everything is coming to forefront. In 21, I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. I was
Mm-hmm.
in the hospital. I had no idea that I was even sick. And I spent a month in the hospital. They found a golf ball size tumor on my colon. So they had the surgery to remove it, but the wound got infected. So they had to open me up and find an antibiotic for the infection. And then they couldn't close it back up because it had to heal from the inside out. So I had to heal back on. And I came back to the jail. I had to stay in the infirmary for about a month. And then I started the chemo treatment. I had about 8 rounds, and the cancer went in remission. And because of the lack of follow-up care, it came back to my liver and metastasized to my liver. And so then it became stage 4. And they wouldn't have figured that out had I not had a knot in my chest. And I put in the sick call for it, and they did a CT scan and said I had a mass on my liver. So a whole bunch of frivolous trips doing nothing to do a biopsy for something they already knew. Everything pointed to the fact that it was cancer, but it took them 8 months to diagnose it as that. By the time they diagnosed it as cancer, it was 2 masses.
Wow.
And I ended up having to go through chemo, 48 hours treatment in the hospital, getting chemo for 48 hours every 2 weeks from like February the 5th of 23 to the middle of October. And at that point, the cancer was working, but it was moving so slow that chemo was really, really having an effect on me. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I could handle it anymore. So I asked the doctor, was there any other solution to it? So he said, yeah, they could cut it or they could burn it. And he sent me to a specialist in Baltimore at the University of Maryland, Dr. Williams, who basically she did a tremendous job. I was wearing the colostomy bag for 4 years. They refused to reverse it. And I had 2 large hernias. One of them was wrapped around the colostomy area. And so, but she did the surgery. I was in surgery for 9.5 hours on November the 20th of 24. And it was very successful. She burned the mass and reversed the colostomy and fixed the hernias. And matter of fact, last week it's been finally confirmed by the oncologist up here and herself that I'm cancer free and everything's looking good. So that's
That's a
what
lot.
I'm looking into for forefront. Yeah, I'm very grateful and very fortunate for that to to twice beat cancer with the permission of the Lord, and I'm very fortunate because I definitely had to shout Mama Bear out because man, she wasn't having it. She was calling, writing. She drove these people crazy to make them do what they were supposed to do, and they still was bucking. But a special shout out to some of the Hedelman, Sally Hedelman, uh, because Mama Bear contacted her, emailed her, and she made some phone calls and talked to whoever she talked to. And once she did that, it seemed like that's when the ball started rolling, and they were
Who
doing
was it? Who was the person again?
Sally Hedelman, Senator Hedelman.
Oh,
She's
okay.
who proposed the geriatric bill that's in the House right now,
Okay.
the medical court. Yeah, yeah. Special shout out for her because of her help, man. Things got to where they are now, and I'm pretty much healthy. So I have arthritis in my back and in my hip, but other than that, I'm healthy right now. It might get
So
a little loud right now because they just hit the doors for wreck, so I apologize if
it's okay.
it's too loud. It's the old man thing.
It's all right. It's all right. So congratulations on, your cancer going into remission, and that science and medicine is able to do, the things that it's able to do. I can't imagine, you know, but I gave you some applause because it's to be applauded when you can not only beat cancer one time, but you can beat cancer twice. Some people just not as blessed and as fortunate. So I was going to ask you about your support system, but I see Mama Bear got you supported down, and that's lovely. It's wonderful. A lot of times we don't get to see, people who have been in prison for as long as you have to still have a lot of that support around, and I'm glad you do that you have that support. So what are you doing, if anything, to fight this sentence? Because as you can see, it's some laws changing.
Right, right. So right now, I have an attorney. Nancy Foster is my attorney, and I'm supposed to meet with her this week. Right. Uh, we're supposed to be doing a belated modification to try to get this sentence reduced so that we can make some leeway. Because the way the Second Look Act is going, they keep bucking, keep trying to knock the life without parole out of it, which doesn't really make sense because that's what the bill was for anyway, for the people who had life without parole that didn't have an opportunity. And it seemed like they just fighting and fighting. And the irony is, I understand the right for victims and their right to be heard because I can only imagine some of the heinous crimes that have taken place. If it was to happen to my family and how I would feel. So I'm not anti-victim or whatever. I just think that is a place for it, right? And then the
Right.
legislation, I don't think that's the place because then what happens is you take a few people in their situations and you make a law, pass a law, or deny a law based on these few people. So you're throwing a blanket over everybody because of that. Whereas they should voice their opinions and their cases in that case, not in everybody's case. So, and the legislature know that they need to pass this bill because they was doing the stuff years ago to make the bill be necessary. So
Right.
it's not about victims in this case. It's about them doing the legal thing to correct the wrong. Like the Unger issue. They knew when they was given that erroneous instruction 30 years ago, they knew they was going to have to pass a bill to fix that. So it was the same situation. So yeah, I'm praying that this second look at gets some rhythm and get passed, because if it does, then hopefully we can get this sentence reduced, and because I qualify for everything. I don't have my jailhouse record is immaculate. I don't get in trouble. I don't, like I said, I prevent trouble as much as I can. If I see something already take place, I'll step in and mediate that as best as I can. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But like I said, in here, that's who I am. I mean, I'm Big Musa. Everybody knows me as Big Musa. And so if you want some good advice, you go to Big Musa. If you're trying to do some shenanigans, don't go to Big Musa, because you ain't with it. I'm not with the shenanigans.
Your daughter on here, she says she loves you, Dad.
Huh?
Your daughter is on. She wrote a message. She said, I love you, Dad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love her too. I love you too, Tasha. Yeah.
Yeah, well, welcome. Thank you for coming on and supporting your dad. We appreciate it. And yes, as far as the second look, they are still pushing legislation. They are still asking people to call and, say that you want the lifers with, the lifers without parole to be included in that. So I'm glad that you do have someone and that they are, fighting for you and for your release and to help you get the sentence modified. Because 4 lives, 2 without parole plus 20 years, that's just crazy. That, and whoever gave you that know it,
I
and they
mean,
know.
yeah, yeah. And something else in that regard too, right? I would like for the opponents of this bill to think about all the victims, right? Because the victims are on both sides of the aisle. Like
Hmm.
my Mama Bear and my daughter, they are vicariously incarcerated with me and have been for 33 years incarcerated with me, right? Having to deal with it. And now it's become expensive, as you know, to be in prison. To be in prison is expensive now. And so she's coming out of pocket, making sure that, I have the ability to call and things like this, and have these little amenities that they have in there to make us a little comfortable and keep us sane, like TVs and little Xbox and stuff like that. And, I'm fortunate that I have these things to, uh, balance out the day, to give you something to take your mind off of where you are, because it's nothing to wake up angry. You
Right.
wake up angry, looking at the same food, and so, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not anti-victim, right? And my family, Mama Bear herself, is torn because she's for the victims. There's some horrible things that has happened to people. And so she's for the victims, but at the same time, she knows that, like in my situation, I ain't murder anybody. I didn't kill anybody, and it's not ambiguous. The state knows what the deal is in my situation, but they get away with these unconstitutional doctrines like the felony murder doctrine. It's been abolished in all but I think 3 states. Even the place of origin, Great Britain, where it was founded, has abolished it. But
Mm.
Maryland and a couple other states still holding on to this unconstitutional doctrine that's allowing prosecutors to get away without having to prove all the elements of the crime. Like for first degree premeditated murder, like the defendant had to have the intent to kill. How how did they take my largest intent and prove it first degree premeditated? And it was
Mm.
only one gun, and they know I didn't have it. So I'm like I said, the legal aspect, I try to stay away from that right now. Let the lawyer do that, because I'm not gonna lie, it makes me angry, and I ain't gonna
Right.
be angry. I have too many reasons to be thankful. So I don't want to waste my time being angry at a system that is broken. We know it's broken, and they fight tooth and nail not to fix what they know is broken.
Mm.
So,
So, after 32 years, going on 33 years, life out here isn't like it was when you went in. It's so many things
absolutely.
that's changing, and even me myself out here, I'm like, wow, we doing this now. Is there anything in there that can prepare you for out here?
Well, the irony is that the people that's out there, they coming in here and they doing the same thing in here that they were doing out there. But like I said, we're in here, but I'm not blind to what's going on outside. We see the news, right? And
Right.
like I said, I talk to Mama Beth every day, right? And through her, right? I'm aware of the changes that's going on, and just seeing it, like, okay, the many trips back and forth to the hospital I've had, going to the University of Baltimore. I just went down there Friday, and just the route that they take Route 40 and they come on down through Anderson Avenue all the way to the city. So I look at it and I can see. It's funny how it looks the same, but it's different.
Different. I feel you.
But it's different. I see it, right? I hear it, and so for me, it's not a hard transition because life for me is real simple. Real simple. I want to do one thing: go home and take care of that woman who's
I
been
know that's
taking
right.
care of me for all these years. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. And so I just got the application for the vet dog program.
What is
So
that?
I'll be doing that within a week or so. And that in itself, like, it's one guy that I talked to, he's home, he's making like,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
training dogs. He got about 4 dogs and he gets a percentage of that. So that's fine for me. That's all I want, is something to do so that I can take care of her. And then, go out and speak where I can speak and help uplift some of these youth. That's all I want to do. Besides my daughter, to be a father to her. Even though she ain't no little girl no more, she still
Have 30 seconds remaining.
I don't want to party, go to the clubs, hang out, get some years that I can't get back. I can't get them back. So,
Well, call us back if you can. Because I want to hear a little more about, I think you said a dog program or something.
Yes.
Yeah, so hang up and give us a call back, Mr. Musa. Drop that call. Okay, ladies. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. That's how we get this platform moving and rolling. This is Fighting for Freedom. I'm Davida, and I work alongside my husband. His name is Rodney Pitts. Together, we fighting for freedom. We come on every third Sunday of the month. We're here at 7:00. If you know anyone who has a loved one in prison or someone that's in prison, if you want to come on and just have some things you want to get off your chest about the justice system and prison and laws, you're welcome to come on as well. You can send us an email at fighting4freedom@myyahoo.com, and we'll welcome you on. You'll come on this platform. Or if you have your own content that you want to get out there and you don't quite know how to do it, we are on Black Box Radio. Miss Queen has this space for anyone who wants to come on and put their content on and let their voices be heard. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you guys for returning. I am Davida. This is Fighting for Freedom. Is Mr. Musa on? Is he on here?
Yes, yes.
All right. So when we left off, you was talking about a dog program or something. What exactly is that?
Yeah, up here they have a vet dog program where they train dogs for assisted living. Uh, and so I filled out a request a few months ago, and they just sent me the application back saying that I was eligible because you got to clear Intel and all this stuff. So I was eligible, and I filled out the application. So it's a good chance that I'll probably be uh, a dog handler soon in the near future, which I'm looking forward to that.
Uh-huh.
You know, all these years teaching and training the most disobedient of creation, man. So now I turn my attention to the most loyal of creation. Dog.
Right. So you train them for, you said assistant livings. What exactly are you training them to do? I don't understand. Are you training them to
Okay, so yeah, so we train them to. They will go fetch things and they
whoa.
walk like for instance, if a person is blind, right, and they have a dog, the dog stops at the corner when there's traffic, and he'll start moving when there's no traffic. Things of this nature. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know all the things that they train the dog for, but I just know that that's what they train them for. And some of them they just companions for the elderly, right?
Okay.
They yeah, so it's definitely a, a
That
meaningful thing. I pride myself on having meaningful jobs, right? And so that
I
was
would
amazing. I used to work in the
be too attached.
yeah.
Look at him. I would be too attached.
Say that again.
I said I think I would be too attached. I wouldn't want, to I mean, considering your situation, I probably would, but just knowing how I feel about my feline and somebody I train them all
Yeah,
up and then take them from me. I'm like, you're not going anywhere. Well, that's good that they have that resource
yeah,
in there. That's good to know that they have that in there for you guys. What other recreation, if any, that they have for you? That sounds interesting. Everyone, I would want to be on the dog program.
yeah. But everybody is not eligible, right? You can't have sex offenses. You can't have a history of abuse, things of this nature. But they have
Okay.
to think about the safety of the dog and drug use. If you have any type of infraction while you're in the program, they're going to kick you out of the program. But I
Oh,
don't get infractions. I don't get tickets.
okay.
I think
So
I think in my whole incarceration, I probably count on one hand how many times I've had tickets, and all of them was the same thing.
you said you can count how many times you had a ticket.
Yeah,
What's the
yeah.
ticket?
I
Or
mean,
like if you get in trouble or something.
I,
I said it's a ticket. If you get in trouble or something, they give you a ticket.
yeah, yeah, they write you up incident infraction, a rule violation, you know, and go in lockup or you can get cell restriction or they can throw it out or whatever the case may be. It depends how serious it is. But
Okay. You
like I
said
said,
you
all of
haven't
mine
had.
been for the same thing. All mine been for the same thing, disrespect. Because the police say something crazy out there mouth to me, I'm gonna say it back to them. Well, I would. I don't do it now because I don't have to. But and it's crazy because they'll sell you all kinds of death, and when you give it back to them, they want to tell.
Mm, yeah, that's still how it is out here. That's exactly how it is. They want to see what
Yeah,
that to
yeah,
you.
yeah. Absolutely. Because people are people. They're gonna be people. It doesn't matter where they are. They're gonna be who they are.
Yeah, you sound like my husband right there.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just a reality. I just think that people in society, they put so much trust in these lawmakers and things like that, thinking that they have their best interests at heart. And some of them may, but a
Right.
lot, they just have their own political agenda, that they pushing, and they'll use the people. They'll use the people and make them think that they concerned about them, but they actually do things to create laws that create more victims. And
Yeah.
so, uh, uh, it's the irony. And the irony is,
What is
one
that?
irony is that if marijuana would have been illegal as it is today, back then, I would have never met my co-defendant. I met him through the person who I used to buy my weed from.
Wow. So were y'all good friends?
No, I barely knew him. But what happened was, okay, I met him through the guy I used to cop my weed from, and he and his mother was getting the floor care business. And my friend told him that he might have somebody interested in working for him. So
Uh-huh.
he introduced me and his mother. It was a house down the street. The woman was going on vacation. She wanted her carpets taken up and the wood floor is done. So I did it, knocked it out the park. And she said, "Look, well, we gonna get the business and you do the work, but trying to make the business grow, wasn't nobody really drawing no check. Wasn't nobody drawing no pay because we was trying to buy equipment and get a vehicle so that we can move stuff around and everything. And so, like I said, that was one of the purposes for even going in the bank in the first place. And that's why I believe that me and my co-defendant was on the same page. But that's what happens
Mhm.
when you put yourself in control of someone else.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. So where is he? Where's your co-defendant?
He's down in Jessup. Last I heard, he's down in Jessup.
Okay. And someone is on to the chat. Let me see who's this. Tawanda V. Hello, Ben. I hear you speaking the truth, Miss T. Thank you for coming on, Tawanda. Appreciate you for joining us. You know,
Yeah.
Miss T.
Mm.
You know who she is, Mr. Benjamin?
Yeah, that's Mama Bear.
Oh, welcome, Mama Bear. See, I didn't think you was gonna put it out there. Thank you, Mama Bear, for joining us. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. So, Mr. Benjamin, it has been a pleasure speaking with you. Um, this I'm still trying to. I don't know. This 4 lives without parole, like that's gruesome. You know, your story, your whole story, your fight with cancer, and just the things you've dealt with. Like some people not fortunate enough to beat this thing one time. And it's your story is an amazing story. And my apologies to you for you even having to endure that type of stuff in prison. Healthcare, I know probably definitely isn't the best, but I'm glad you were able to, get seen and get treated, and you're hopefully feeling better than you've ever felt. Okay.
I feel wonderful. I'm blessed, and I just like for the listeners, the people who maybe not involved in things, to become more involved because the picture is big. You're not seeing the whole picture when you listen to these people, the pros and the cons, the antis and the opponents, and the ones who push forward. They you still can't see the big picture, right? There's faces behind these numbers, and they matter, and you can't throw a blanket over and put everybody in the same box because there's no one out there that want to be put in the box and judged by somebody else's actions. Nobody wants that.
Right.
And nobody out there that if they look back 30 years, 30, 40 years, the same person.
Absolutely not.
You know, you're going to be better or you're going to be worse. You're not going to be the same. And I'm
Right.
I'm better. You know,
Thank
yeah, I appreciate this opportunity, and I pray that Allah bless everyone involved, the people I know and the people I do not know, to give them the strength and the guidance and to help them to continue to fight for the people and give the people a voice.
thank you so much. So you shouted out one of the senators. Is it anybody else you want to give a shout out to? Tawanda is on. Your daughter is on.
Yeah, well, well Mama Bear Tasha, that's a perennial shout out. That's always a shout out. You know, that's my world. They are my world. And Mama Bear may know it a little more than Tasha knows it, but yeah, that's my world, and that's what I'm fighting for. Because honestly, if it wasn't for them, I couldn't care. I mean, 33 years, this is second nature to me. I'm not punished. The only thing that gives me anxious is I can't come out there and take her trash out. I can't cut her grass. I can't shovel her snow. I can't take the car to the shop to get fixed. She has to do all those things that I'm supposed to be doing. That's what gives me angst. But being in here, I'm not punished. I got a single cell with an Xbox, a TV, my own toilet, my own sink. I got a tablet. I can call and talk when I want to talk. I'm not punished.
Right.
So, it's a state of mind.
Yeah.
State of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. We ask everyone, toward the end of the show to, drop a jewel for the people that's listening. What is something that you want them to take away, either something, from you or just life in general?
Okay, so there's so many of them, but I'm gonna say this one right here, and it's something to think about. It's something that people should think about because most people in this country say they believe in God. And whether you're a Jew, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whatever your ideology is, right, you go to these places of worship and you ask for three things. You ask for forgiveness, you ask for mercy, and you ask not to be condemned. But then you leave those places of worship and go out into the world and you do the exact opposite of what you ask for yourself. You're unforgiving, merciless, and
Mm.
condemned. So this is something that I would like people to question themselves on and to try to be better. Try to be better. And an eye that does not water is a heart with no love in it.
Okay, that's the jewel right there, y'all. That is the jewel. Well, thank you, Mr. Musa. This is our time. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being open. Because that's not easy. And we want to thank the listeners for coming on. Thank everybody for coming on and tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. Push that subscribe button, that like button. That's how we get this platform moving. That's how we get it out there. That's how we get more people to come on. Like I said, if you know anyone want to come on, send us an email at fighting for the number four freedom at myyahoo.com. And hopefully my husband is calling in to close us out because he usually does. Um, let me see. Let me get him to call in. Well, Mr. Musa, thank you so much, sir. And if it's anybody that you want me to send the link to so they can look, we can. And we can definitely invite them on to other shows that we're having. Just let me know. Babe, call into the show. Let me try to text him because he should be trying to call in. And he'll probably call you, Ja, um, right into the your Google number. I'm not sure if you can put him in while Mr. Musa is on. That I don't know.
We just cleared the line, so when he calls, we'll
Okay. Hopefully, hopefully he'll be calling in soon because he usually calls at 7:45. I was trying to close it out. I don't know.
Call
Never.
To accept, press 1.
Hello?
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 Yes, hi, babe. Thank you for coming in.
Hey. Assalamu alaikum. What's up, babe?
Walaikum salam.
All right.
Hi. I'm well. How are you?
Nah, I'm sorry, alhamdulillah.
All right. Take us home.
All right, absolutely. Good evening and Ramadan Mubarak. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Fighting for Freedom. I hope that tonight's episode was insightful and educational to say the least. Surely the men and women who are being presented are not their worst mistakes. You have the right to your own opinions, of course, but before you judge, remember any of the presented stories could have been yours. I hope that y'all continue to stay tuned in with us on the Fighting for Freedom series. You know what I mean? For surely we have many more stories to present in the near future. Thank you, Miss Queen, for giving us this platform, giving a voice to the voiceless, and thank you, Ja, for all that you do. Surely teamwork make the dream work. You done know already. You know what I mean? I want to give a shout out to Miss Janetta Graham and No Struggle, No Success, Out for Justice, Life After Release, and the countless others who believe in us, showing up for us, and fighting for us. We love y'all. Stay strong, remain ever solid, and I'll see y'all next episode. That's all.
Thank you, guys.